Hello everybody and welcome back to another video here on the Double Peak channel. Today we're going to be doing a tier list breaking down our opinions on the top 30 teams across Americas, EMEA, and Pacific in the franchise leagues. Tom, I think we're going to have a lot of different opinions about some of these teams, although I think some of them will end up in the same realm. I don't know if you want to go ahead before we kick this one off and chuck a few favorites, fan favorites and our favorites up on the board in positions. I'm going to start you off actually.
Are you?
DFM. A tier, pop them in.
Cool.
No,
Done.
Obviously,
There we go. Straight. I was gonna say. I know that there's gonna be people from my Discord. Oh, he's done it again. Why is he just like they didn't win a game all season, and yeah,
That'll do it.
Unfortunately, that's where they belong.
You know, I had a feeling I knew where you were going to take that one. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think there's a few obvious ones. Like I think we just start by like Fnatic, EG. I think have to be the top two in S. Obviously, for anybody who doesn't know, we're doing 6 teams have to go in every single one. So you might look at this in post, like the tweet we put out, and be like, oh, I can't believe they put this team in S tier. They're not on the level of Fnatic. It's like, yeah, we're going to put 6 in each to make it harder for ourselves to pick who that team is going to be and basically make us bicker a little bit more. I think that's always the goal with these videos. I want to put one out there because I know that I'm curious to see where you would put them. I want to put Foot in A tier. I don't think they're quite in the S, but I think that they had an amazing year, top 8 at champs. So I don't think, especially if you're counting it as like top 12 teams, I think they definitely make the cut.
Yeah, I have them in my A tier actually.
Okay.
They're a squad that could easily compete
because you're a little nerd.
I didn't do all of it. I still have maybe 10 teams floating around, but I just had a vague idea of, this is where I'd put them. Yeah, for me, Foot, they're a team that next year could definitely compete with the best of the best. This year, they had a couple of decent games, but ultimately nothing that I think will put us in the realm of thinking they're an S tier team. But they could be. They have the potential. I think it's a fair placement to put them in. The team I had beside them in A, I don't even manage to slide 2 of them in because I was kind of debating about a 6th slot in the S tier, was NRG as well. I think they had a decent year and their team was, I mean, phenomenal. Like so much potential on it.
Yeah, I think it's always going to be tougher to do the middle ones. I think, for example, for me, that has to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to
for
be
sure.
down there. The thing is, this is where my
Just
sort of
didn't
like
achieve.
my biases come in a little bit though, because I feel like I have really high expectations of a lot of the even the lower down EMEA teams. So I want to put them in the D tier because of that. Whereas like, for example, someone like Global Esports, they didn't achieve much, but I really like that team. So I always want to do this. Like, just be like, they weren't the worst.
Yeah.
So it's difficult for me in my bias. It's the same with like Gen G. Like, they started so strong, but I ended up really disappointed. So it makes it a lot more difficult to see where to place them. I guess we just we got to thin out the herd with some of the obvious ones.
Let's do just that. I think, like, let's be realistic about Global. Right now, our objective in putting them in C tier is to find 6 teams that belong below them, without a doubt. So let's try and do that. Talon, for example, I think they had a decent lock-in, but fell off, right? They almost bested DRX over there.
But how are we doing this, though? Is it
didn't really
the
hit
whole
anything.
year?
The whole year, yeah.
If it's the whole year, they have to be above a GE.
But, sorry. I think we look at them, how did the year go for them? So the start of the year, it was okay. It was a good start. But the end of the year, what did the team end up achieving, being? Did they grow from lock-in? And I don't think so in Talon's case.
True, but their lock-in performance was what? Was it
very good.
Top 4? No.
They showed a top 4 at lock-in. I don't think so.
They lost to DRX. It was really like late in the game, right?
They were top 5 to 8.
5 to 8. Okay. I don't know why I thought it was. I guess the format was
singly
janky.
Like.
So
Talon's run was they beat MIBR and they beat EG. That's the other thing. This team 2-0'd EG. Haven
they were
13,
top 4 in their
split
half.
13-10.
That's why.
Exactly.
So that's the thing. In that regard, Talon finished in the same position as NRG. Now, I will say and they also beat EG. So I think that I still think they're in C, but I think they're higher than Global. Just because I think Global did get better as the year went on, And I think if they played each other towards the end of the year, I'd probably favor global, but I don't think that matters. I think if you do as well as they did at lock-in, like beating EG, even if it was before EG got like Demon 1, so it kind of kind of a different EG, I think they have to go above. Oh, this is actually really difficult. I want to get an easy one. The RX have to go up there.
Yeah, that's easy peasy. And let's just get that top row at least mostly filled in. Put Loud up, put Paper X up, get them in, get them populated. So we've got 5 top teams. I think finding a 6th here, it was kind of tough. Even looking at A. So let's keep populating the bottom tier because we still haven't got another team in D, which is, they could both be above each other, but down in the D tier at this point for Talon and Global.
Like, Crew went 0-9, but they made it to champs.
Well, let's put Gen G. Let's put Gen G. I think Gen G are a D tier team purely because, again, what did they achieve across the year? What did they end up doing? Nothing. They weren't really a contender. Like regionally, they were flat.
They made it to playoffs, though. That's the thing that makes it difficult. Yeah. So, like, because that's the thing. It's like, towards the latter half of the season, like, Gen G were worse than I think a lot of the teams that finished above them, but they still technically, I think they made it to playoffs. I could be. Okay. Yeah, they did. They made it. They made it to playoffs against Secret and lost in the lower final. So by that regard, they Who did they beat RRQ? So they have to be above RRQ. They beat Talon as well, and they lost to Secret twice. So Secret has to be above them.
Let's rate
Why have we not done this?
And Secret. Heretics, yeah, fair.
I didn't just put them there now. Sorry, Heretics, but your roster imploded, so I
didn't do it. Yeah, you can't really argue with that. So if we look at T1 and Secret, I think Secret are either a B or a C. I might even push them up to a B.
T1's a B.
T1, I agree. Yeah.
Okay.
Champs close versus Foot. BDDG. Lost a rematch to them. It's hard. It's hard to win those rematches. Inconsistent, really but a high peak. So it's good. What about Secret? I think Secret belong up there with T1. I think, second best regionally.
They're either
part of the reason Team Lock-in got
a low B
smashed
or a high C. So I don't mind putting them B for now, and then we potentially move them down.
Let me B for now. Because again, for me, Team Secret belong in B because Talon are in C. And I don't think they're on the same. I think they're a little above.
Might have to be down here as well.
Are you? Oh, okay.
Like, I feel like MIBR did not have a good season at all. Like, maybe I'm misremembering, but like, I feel like the pinnacle of most of their season was stopping 100 Thieves from making it. And then other than that, like, they had a couple of good games. Like, they beat Crew, beat 100 Thieves, but like their season, ultimately they went out dead last at lock-in and they didn't make it at all anywhere. And they finished last in LCQ. So
yeah.
I feel like for me, in terms of the Americas teams, they're the one that has to be in the bottom. I don't think there's anybody else that even then it's like Fury, 100 Thieves, Sentinels, and obviously Crew then went on that run. I'd probably put Leviathan up here. I don't think they had a great year, but they were still like consistently all right throughout. Oh, that's difficult. Maybe they go here.
Yeah, that's more what I'm thinking. And the thing is, you have to realize, like, the more we do this, the more that's starting to kind of push Global down a little bit. Like, where are RRQ going? Because they should go above Global. I think they should go below Zeta, and I'm okay to put Zeta in B. I actually think Zeta could earn a slot up in B. International tournaments were tough. I'm not gonna lie about that. They only played 3 games, but they won regionally convincingly.
What about Koi though?
Potentially. Yeah. Okay. Koi. Let's ask a question. Koi Global. Fight. Who's winning? I think they're very close to each other.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a very close matchup.
Let's ask this question. I don't fucking know. Now what?
Brother head to head. Yeah, that's not a very easy one. So I guess we match them. We tie them at the waist for now. We'll see if we need to separate them.
I also just think like BBL has to be in one of these bottom ones as well because they had a really bad season.
In that case, I guess let's also put it this way. I think Giants should be below Foot I think Giants should be B, where Foot are A. Maybe they could compete up there, but if we're really populating that, now where does Team Liquid go? Which Team Liquid?
I think, okay, first things first, I think Na'Vi goes up here.
Pretty high. Pretty high.
I would say that they didn't have the greatest year for them, but still did better than most.
Sure.
I'd say
Sure. I'm with you.
Cloud9's a difficult one because Cloud9 built the super team, scrapped the super team, but then regionally still did quite well. They were very close to making it to events. So
but they have to go below Leviathan, surely. Like 100.
But we have to put something because that's the thing. Then I feel like someone has to. I feel like Liquid probably goes here because they made it to internationals. Maybe even they lost to Na'Vi at Champions, but then they. I feel like Sentinels had a really poor season. 100 Thieves.
Are you going to put any of these teams? Let's ask a simple question. There's 2 slots left in D. You need to put 2 of those teams in D, or Global and Koi go down.
Yeah, that's probably.
I think that's the correct move here.
BBL. BBL
Koi.
might have to go down. I'm not
Instead
gonna
of Koi?
They did beat Koi though. And oh, it's so difficult. It's so difficult. I'm stuck towards the end. I think Genji goes there for me.
I beat Koi and lost to KC.
Lev has to go up.
Lev goes up. Oh, okay, I'm behind you. I'm behind you.
Oh, the S tier team's so fucking difficult. Like I'm trying to think throughout the year who did better. NRG had a nightmare at Champions. Absolute fucking nightmare. At Tokyo...
Foot looked good. I think Foot go up there. Maybe it's regional bias, but...
At Tokyo, NRG finished 4th.
Yes.
Which I think is a... and the other... They lost twice to Billy. It's so fucking tough. And at Lock-In...
Those are fun times.
They were 5th to 6th as well. And Foot were 9th to 16th. So I think for me, it's that. I don't like it. I don't love it.
I'll ask you the other question. Who's the best region? And there's only one of them in S tier right now. I don't know.
Like, yeah, but no, for this year, I don't think you can, I don't think you can put Foot up there. They finished top 8 as what their best. But I don't think that they can realistic be up there.
I don't know. Fnatic and PaperX losses on their front. NRG were Billy, and Billy, and they beat Zeta Division. I mean, look at even where we have Zeta on the tier list and where we have the teams that Foot lost to on the tier list.
Because, okay, so the top
I don't know. 5,
obviously EDG's not on this list, otherwise they would be they would be probably the 6th team or the top of A. So then you have to go back to, I would say, Masters and look at how teams did there. And that's where I feel like it really, NRG's 4th, Liquid's 5th. So for me, it's between those sort of teams. No, the others is still the same. So, I
don't know. As well, Foot, their game against EG, their champs games were T1, EG, which they lost close on the first map, PaperX, and Fnatic.
But they only beat T1.
That is true. They only beat T1.
That's where it's more difficult. And then you look at okay, and then at Masters they only beat Attacking Soul. So it's they've not. For me, they were very good. I just don't know if I could put them above NRG. It's so difficult. This 6th team is arse.
I can.
I know you can, but you're their fucking team mascot. So I'm trying to do this rationally.
Let me just again on record. I wanted to put you guys in their Foot. Okay.
And then going back to Lock-In. Well, Na'Vi finished up there, but I don't feel comfortable moving them up any further. For me, it has to be NRG. I'm not happy about it because of what happened at Champs. But I think overall for the year, they were slightly better. And I mean very, very slightly. I also think that... The thing is, this now, like, because we've now taken the time to move a team up, it does become more difficult. Like, I think Crew made an insane run.
Yes.
So I think they have to go in B. Even though their year was overall awful, when they did make changes, the run they made was insane.
Sure.
Sentinels, I honestly want to put further down. But then it becomes like, I guess maybe like that. I think Giants go up. They consistently like made it to some events. Like they probably should have made it to Tokyo, but they didn't. But I don't think there's anybody else here that was really above them. Vitality for me is a solid B, and then we just have to work out where the fuck we're gonna put Furia. Because in Americas they weren't great. At lock-in, they got eliminated by Fnatic, and they didn't make it to champion. So I think they're difficult.
Well, Vitality, like end of the season EMEA was obviously tough. I think regular season as well. They beat KC, Koi, lost to Foot, beat Liquid. The rest was shaky. International, beat Global, lost to Leviathan. Like, I think popping Furia and B alongside them might actually fill us out nicely. The only thing then is that both of us have wildcards to play. I think I might be using one.
For what? Well, just to put
Foot up top.
Yeah, the thing I don't know.
Top, baby. Then you'd have to choose one team to take out, and you could do the same.
Yeah, I just don't, because the thing is, it's only that last spot that really matters. I don't think like there's not actually much about this list that I magically want to change. The only thing I might say is I don't know about Furia being in B. Because they literally, like...
I mean, who would you swap them with? I mean, that's basically their slot right now. You gotta slide someone in there.
There's such a weird one, because they beat, like, Leviathan twice, which is odd. But then they lost to most of the teams, including Sentinels, including 100 Thieves, including Crew. So it's... Right now, there's a couple of teams. Talon didn't do much at all, so I don't think I can put them up. No. RQ got better as the season went on, but again, I don't think I can put them up
did
either.
Nothing. Yeah.
I'm just going to do that for my own. Yeah, it's really difficult. I also think that I'm just looking at like who actually made it to events, so I put data up a tiny bit.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I wasn't rating it as left to right, really. Hello.
Like I'm not completely unhappy with this. Upset. I definitely think there's gonna be some people having like a mental breakdown, like looking at this list. Like
me seeing Foot not on the S tier, but you know, other than that, sure.
I'm sure there's some Sentinels fans out there who are not very happy.
Fuck him. What can you do? Can't please everyone, Tom. You know, my mission in life is always to please Foot, and in this case, I don't think I've done it. I don't think I've done them justice. I could have argued harder, but
I'm also just looking at the fact that
other than that,
so although we
ended up with them on the same tier.
Yeah, we got four EMEA teams in A. I don't know.
Sorry, Tom. I feel comfortable because you've always told me you're not biased. But, you know, if you wanted to thin out those EMEA numbers, maybe put another NA team in A. I mean, energy could go down, and then, I don't know.
I don't like,
could go up. I don't know.
It's a weird one because I also just feel like, okay, like, say we go back to those two teams and NRG play against them. Like, this is the thing when I look at, like, Tokyo, right? The teams that NRG beat were Na'Vi, who's in the tier below them, Tier 1, who's in B. They beat DRX, who's in the same tier as them. They beat Liquid, who's in the tier below. Then you go to the team that eliminated them, which was PaperX. Now, granted, Billy fucked it. And then you can go back to, like, VCT Americas, the team they lost to, EG, same tier as them. Okay, they lost to MIBR, that's a bit of a joke. They're losing to Leviathan, Loud, they're losing to Cloud9. Like, they always, other than the Billy, which I'm going to say is more of a blip, they're always losing to the very top teams every single time. And like in Americas, they lost the grand final to Loud, who's again above them in the tier list. So it's like I don't, and then you go back to like again like Sao Paulo, they beat Giants, they beat Koi, they got eliminated by Loud. So it seems like every single time except for Champions, they would be an S tier, and I don't even think it would be arguable. I think it's just because they had a shit Champions, and
So
Foot had a great Champions, but they only beat one team.
let me take you from the start of Masters to the end of Champions, right? They played against, they lost their, I'm just going through their losses, only the games they lost there. They lost to EG, who came second. They lost to DRX, who came fourth in Tokyo. And in Champs, they lost to EG, who came first. They lost to PaperX, who came second. And they lost to Fnatic, who came fourth. They only lost to top 4 teams in every event. And Energy lost to Billy. And then changed the player.
I guess the only problem I have is I also think that for me at
and
least...
technically Red Bull Homeground's this year. I'm just saying technically it's this year.
No,
and they won that event.
It's a different team. It doesn't count. It's also a qualifier, and they didn't beat anybody who's even like the the best team they beat on this list is in D tier. Granted,
you may be accurate there. But
and they also just lost the BBL to show match if you want to include that as well. So there you go.
No, I funnily enough, Tom, I don't want to include that.
Yeah. But also,
that was
I think the thing that sort of seals it for me a little bit is that the only top team that they beat, like in our like list, is Na'Vi. And that was once. They lost to Liquid. That's the other thing. Like we have them above Liquid based on their own performance, but they weren't able to beat them. They lost to them. In fact, they lost to them 3-0 in the final. They lost to them 2-1 in the MEA season. They always lost to Fnatic. Okay, so did everyone else. So I'm
beat Navi and Giants actually. Giants as well, who are now in our A tier.
Yeah, okay, but I put Giants sort of low end of that list. I get what you mean, but if I'm looking at like a top 10,
sure,
which funnily enough they just miss out on. I don't know. I think that they're very close, and I think that this 6th spot is bullshit, and it should just be like this. But that's why we created this for ourselves. I don't know. Like if you wanna really use, I'm not gonna use mine. I don't feel like I need to. I feel like the list is fine.
We'll pull a ceasefire. It's all right.
If you want to do it to just move NRG down, fair enough. I'm not that against it. I just think the NRG for me like pip it slightly.
I've been accused of disliking America's teams before, so I'm not going to do that.
This is where you're like, and I put EG into D tier.
So I'm going to lock EG down the bottom, baby, because they don't have a fucking roster. But no, obviously, yeah. Look, I'll sheath my weapon. I'll say, okay, Foot A tier. In my heart, they're the only S tier. But you know, it's fair. It is what it is. Once they know who the culprit was, my hands are tied.
That's okay. I'd also maybe do some of these, like maybe swap these around a little bit, but I think because they're in the same tier, it doesn't matter too much.
Yeah.
Like I think we've nuances to be argued for like slight positioning. Like I definitely do something like that. Maybe even that. I think BBL for me kind of that's one of the only ones I'm sort of questioning because I felt like they should be down a tier. I don't know who for necessarily.
You want to put global up, don't you? I mean, if you decided to use your wildcard to lock global in above, I mean, you know, I would be okay with that. That'd be fine.
I don't need to. Well, you said you're okay with it, so why would I need to lock it?
No, I said, you know, it's,
you just put
I'm
Foot
okay
in
with
S
you
tier, which I don't like. They're right at the top of A. We'll leave it there.
Maybe I would. Maybe I wouldn't. There's only one way to find out, Tom.
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, global esports. Now you know how much he really likes you. That's all I'm saying.
I like the new roster.
Oh, okay. Would they be where would they be on this list?
Oh, straight up the fucking. We'll see. See, I've chatted with 2 teams recently, so you know, the more teams I chat with, the kind of less I have to be biased. You know,
you're gonna be so biased to everyone that you're unbiased. I like it. Exactly. I like it. Equally biased.
I definitely think that this list is gonna piss some people off. Sentinels
Yes.
fans, 100 Thieves fans, probably.
Foot fans, please, let me
Yeah,
let us know in the comments
Rise up for King. You
how
guys are an A tier.
outrageous of a performance this was. We need the NRG Foot show match. Bring back the old rosters. Get it out on the stage.
Oh yeah,
I know who.
Send
I know
on is back to America.
Send him all the way back, baby. Thanks for coming back, bud. You're on vacation though. You got 2 weeks back with the boys. But look, you guys can let us know down in the comments who you think is right in this situation. Can Eccles, IGL, NRG for 4 days and beat Foot? I don't know. I'm really not sure about that one. But the classic rosters head to head, yeah, we all know Foot would win. Let us know in the comments if you agree. We'll see you guys soon. That's the end of our video, end of our tier list, rating the top 30 teams, 30 out of 30. And we got through them all, Tom. And without too much of an argument, didn't even use the wild cards. Wow. I feel like we've turned over a new leaf. We're becoming the same person. And coming back with no hair next week, myself and Tom will be bringing you another video. See you soon.
Bye.